Well, we take a look here at the 60th annual Richland Center High School Wrestling Invitational. And again, a great tournament going on here. Formats. Western Wisconsin Video Production. I'm Ken Manning, along with Kirk Layer and Chuck Rasmussen, as we bring you this tournament. And a nice crowd here today, guys, as we take a look. And we look forward to somewhere around that 3 to 3:30. Richland Center is going to have kind of a neat program, Kirk, coming up.
Yeah, that will be great. The Hall of Fame honors will be here today. We have two gentlemen from the same family going into the Hall of Fame. And then the former coach's son, Nick McCauley, going in from the McCauley family. And then kind of the unique thing is they're going to inject their first team into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Along with a longtime broadcaster associated with our group above us here in Ron Fruit.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Well, Chuck, we got a pin over here on mat 1. That was
Christensen.
Okay, Iowa Grant Highland. And another one right in front of us here.
That was at 126. That was Jonathan Harms from Belmont Platteville.
Okay. We are now looking at Consolation round here, folks, as we come back live here to the broadcast. And, of course, I want to remind you, one, thanks for watching on the Twitch side of things. And we'll have this on the YouTube channel, hopefully maybe as soon as Sunday night. But stay tuned for all of that, as we're going to work. I'll work hopefully diligently enough and get some of this back on so you can re-watch this great wrestling.
We have a young man from Ithaca at 120 pounds on the mat. 3 out here. That is Blake Bingham. He is taking on Logan Gajewski from Hillsborough. Yeah, you were telling me that's how I should pronounce it.
Yep.
2-0, Bingham out in front after the first period.
Kleppe has now increased his lead to 4-0 as we're in the final period of action here. And I think I have to assume he had his choice and chose neutral.
No, he went down, and that's how he got his.
Oh, he did.
Yeah,
Thank
he
you.
got his point. Yep.
I looked away, and that's what happened.
Down on mat number 1 now, we have Brady Burmeister from River Ridge. He takes on Brody Bancy from GET.
Down to 50 seconds on mat number 4.
We'll give you these matchups as we go through these wrestlebacks here, but we'll have to be honest with you, we'll do better when they get into the semifinals on both sides.
Yeah.
We'll catch up. Mat number 2 here, we have Matt Rioch from River Valley. He takes on Ty Miller from Boscobel in a wrestleback match there.
Last 20 seconds at this 285 quarter final. 4-1.
4-1 now, yeah. Must he give up a stalling point, Chuck?
I think so. You know, I'll save that for later.
Nice comeback win here for Braden. He's had a pretty decent year so far, but he's also had some injuries. So getting the semifinals is a good spot to be for him.
Yeah, 4-1. So the semifinals are set at 285.
Yes, we have Grant Matthews from Riverdale. He will take on Henry Brigham from Cashton in one semifinals, and then we just saw Braden Kleppe solidify his semifinal slot, and he will take on a local guy, and Max Neef in the semifinals there. So that'll be an interesting matchup. Richland Center against Ithaca there.
Yep.
And again, just a quick reminder, folks, that you get to the semifinals and you are in the top 4.
Kirk, put pressure on you again here. After the quarterfinals, what do you got for team score?
Oh, yeah, I guess I can see that, right?
Yes,
see, you challenge me and it's easy. Right now, as we completed the semifinals there, they have Iowa Grant out in front with a 191 score, followed by GET, which they were a team that we should have mentioned earlier. I apologize for that. It's probably my fault. They've always been a contender here. They're at 175 and a half, and then you got Riverdale at 134.5, followed by Reesburg. So those are your top 4.
Hillsborough was just defeated here. I was trying to take a look and see who that was, who he lost to. I think that was that.
That
Belmont
was
Platteville?
Harms from Belmont Platteville.
It was, okay.
Yep.
So now they're going to move to, on mat 4, to 126 pounds. And again, Consolation, everything out here right now in front of you folks is Consolation. Quarterfinal Consolation. And at 126 we have Riverdale. This is Baumkamp. He lost a tough match to Udahoven out of Boscobel.
There's a fall on mat number 2.
let's
That's
see.
at 132. That was Drew Sander
Boscobel.
from Boscobel getting a fall over Joe Lucas from Westby.
After we get done with this round, we will be at 8 wrestlers in each weight class.
Yep.
Kirk, can you help me out here on mat 4?
Yep.
Who is?
That's Ryder Matheson from Holman Reserves taking on Treston Renish from Riverdale. You had the Riverdale part, right?
Yep. My mistake. I had the wrong weight class.
Then we're at Bingham here. He's coming close to a fall as we come back to update you on his match. And he gets a fall there in his wrestleback match at 120 for Ithaca Weston over Gajewski from Hillsborough. Hillsborough's another program, as we mentioned, talking about River Ridge earlier, kind of in a transition phase, but another program that I've heard again that they have some nice young freshmen and some junior high wrestlers coming in the next couple of years here. Another Riverdale wrestler taking the mat here on mat number 2. I believe that's Sean Duffy, and he will be taking on Andres Cabeza from Cochrane Fountain City. And a fall down there on mat number 1. That was Austin Cushman as he comes back through the Consolation side with a fall over Owen Bedward of River Ridge. We're kind of winding, as Chuck had mentioned earlier, there's not a ton of these Consolation quarterfinals, but should get us right into where we're positioned in semifinals in both is get another fall down here on mat number 3. That was at 120 pounds. That was Caleb Rundy from the Holman Reserves with a fall over Colton Isley from Belmont Platteville.
I think 46 matches in this round, too,
Yep.
just like the first round. So.
Yep. As long as we didn't lose anybody from injury, we should be right in that area.
Oh, knocking on wood, but
Yep.
I don't think we've seen anything real
Yep,
other than a nosebleed.
I'm
Yep.
sorry I even said that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But we'll hope for good ways. As Scotty Brookman said in the meeting, they like to keep the training crew over there just, maybe stuffing a few bloody noses and minor injuries like that.
Yeah, I see one of the gals just packed up a bag of ice. So,
Yeah, that seems to be always you need at almost
Yeah.
every athletic
Yeah.
event.
yeah.
Not too sure golfers, but even I suppose a golfer could strain his shoulder.
Depends on how big a divot you try and dig
Yeah,
out.
that's true, yeah,
There's
yeah.
where I'm at.
That's
Yeah.
right, my problem too. These high school golfers are a lot better than us
Yeah.
hackers.
Yep, absolutely. 7-0 the score down here on mat number 4. Now 9-0 as Riverdale continuing to rack up the points here.
Treston Renish doing a fine job down there. We have Duffy out
Duffy
here.
right here, yeah.
He's doing fine with a 10-0 lead. Could get a fall right here, Chuck. There it is. Now we have down on mat number 1, we have another Ithaca wrestler going out there, Weston. Derek Franson, the sophomore, he takes on Camden Thiele from the Holman Reserves. We have on here on mat number 3, we have Cale Koenig, the freshman from River Ridge. We just talked about his dad earlier, Clay. He's taking on Evan Johnson from Toma. Matter of fact, I think Clay's getting a little clarification down here from Mr. Official Mike Nicolati. Quite a history of wrestling sitting down there in the River Ridge corner with Clay and and Ryan Hanna.
Nice to see Ryan helping out, coaching.
I mean, that's just a fine family from the Prairie du Chien area. And now I see every once in a while you see the two young men have got I think it's a bait business going down there. That's kind of cool to see. Plug their business up, tell them they have to become a sponsor, Ken. Ken mentioned earlier, it's a nice crowd here. You know, plenty of room for you. If this was live, we tell you to come out and enjoy it. But you know, if you're listening on the radio with Bill and David up there, make sure you get out here. There's some really nice action going on yet, and we got the Hall of Fame coming up. We got the semifinals coming up, and we also have the finals coming up.
Yeah, it's going to be just a great afternoon here of high school wrestling. 11-0 the score down here on mat 4, and there's the pin.
Winner
So-
down there on mat number 1 came back, the young man from Holman, to win that wrestle back against the Ithaca wrestler, and that would have been Derek Franzen going down to a 4-3 decision down there.
So Tristan Renish is going to move on to the Consolation semifinals as he will be trying to work his way back into that 5th place match.
There's somebody familiar down
Yep.
there, Mr. Rasmussen.
Yep.
I looked down there and I went, wait a minute.
Mr. Eric Rasmussen stepped in the house with his
Yeah.
young bride.
Maybe just turn down his mic there. We'll let them chat and we'll take care of things here. So
That sounds fine. We complete our action through. We're up to 138 and 150 on mat number 2. That's another Riverdale wrestler on the mat, Caden Miller, as he takes on Josiah Klomarski from Holman Reserves. We still have Koenig and Johnson on mat number 3. And now on the far end there, Ken's got Jonathan Baumeister from Basketball, and he takes on Nolan Cavasso from Baraboo. And Baraboo right now leading that match 2-0 at 144. Mickelson wrestling down there on mat number 1 now. That's Titan. He's taking on Cameron Hogan, another basketball wrestler.
Koenig in control, but it's a tied match at 4 apiece here on mat 3.
Talking to his dad earlier, he said, young man likes to wrestle, but I guess baseball's kind of his favorite sport.
Big one, huh?
Yeah.
Number 1. It's all right to have a number 1. And,
Yeah.
you
The
know,
nice thing that he was talking about is that he's still doing 3 sports, you know.
Yeah.
And that's getting harder and harder for a lot of these young athletes, whether they're male or female, to, you know, manage 3 sports.
Yep.
Because it just so many places they can go, even during the winter for baseball players, and find a place where you can get activity in.
Yes. Johnson does pick up the reversal and now leads 6-4 with 30 seconds to go. Koenig trying to hip heist out, but Johnson's able to follow.
Needs kind of a big move here in the last 20-some seconds to get back into this match.
Going to blow the whistle. And a warning on top here for riding with 7 seconds to go.
Gives him a shot here in one last big move if he can make it.
Yep. Little timeout down on mat 4 with a bloody nose, I believe.
Yep. Miller getting a little closer back in his match. Oh, he got the escape. He gave it up. Oh, it goes for the throw.
Oh, boy.
Oh, wow, it was close.
That was a great try.
It was a great tie. He needed about 2 more seconds, and he might have had
Yes,
her.
I think so, Kirk.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, I tell you what, you want to go down fighting, and that's what he did. He gave it a shot.
He's only a freshman, so I look for good things out of him.
Yeah.
He's got a fine coaching staff, and he'll figure some things out here.
Well, at 157 pounds, they're going to jump up here on mat 3.
Yep.
Got Holman and Belmont Platteville. Let's see if we can find that one here.
Try to get some of my brackets.
That's Spenceley, Carter Spenceley coming out. And let's see, Holman is Eli King. Spenceley is senior. Meanwhile, now 7-0 the score on mat 4 at 144. Spenceley's going to pick up the takedown.
He's
Meanwhile,
wrestling Eli Kane from Holman Reserves. Still down there on mat number 4, that's Nolan Cavazos from Baraboo winning 7-0. Now we got a Novacek down here on mat number 1. That's Irvin Novacek taking on Gabe Friedland from Westby. And that looks like Mr. Novacek. You guys probably saw it on the web there. He just got a fall. And so now he'll keep moving on in the tournament in the consolation side.
Right. Yeah, he did a good job. He just locked up that cradle and finally able to work those shoulders down.
Caden Miller came out on the short end of his match with a 4-2 loss to Josiah Borowski. So his day is over. We have a new match down there. It looks like a Boscobel and a River Valley wrestler going at it. No, that's Ithaca Rustin. Excuse me.
That's
Their
going to be
uniforms are really tightly together
They
today.
are so close.
Yep, just got to look for the Bulldog or whatever for the Ithaca in the back, or the Flying Blackhawk for the River Valley team.
So it's Bennett of Ithaca Weston.
Ashton, yep, and he takes on Harrison Davis, and he gets a quick takedown, and now going for another takedown, and maybe even some back points here if he can get that barbed wire in. Oh, now he switches to a cradle. He's got that in tight, Ken.
Boy, does he ever, and there's the fall. 28-second pin time for Bennett.
Nice job by him to keep his day going.
We had a flurry of action here on this mat number 2 here, Kirk.
That's at 157. That's another Boscobel wrestler stepping out there again. That's Job Wetter, the sophomore, taking on Joe Childs from River Ridge. So 2 gentlemen from the same area of the river down there.
Yeah.
And now it's Childs getting a nice points there right at the end of the period. So 2-0 score for Childs as they go to the second period. All tied up on mat 3, 2-2. Just getting underway down there on mat number 1 in 165. And that's another Boscobel wrestler, Chance Johnson, as he takes on Hunter Leffler of GET.
We're going to jump all the way up to 175 on mat number 4, and we have a Toma wrestler coming out. That is Hakan Garvin.
He's going to take on a Blackhawk.
Okay. See if we can find that'll be Blake Brickle, sophomore.
Got a fall down there on mat number 1. That would be the young man from Hunter Leffler from GET. Belmin getting a fall over Chance Johnson from Boscobel. They're already getting up into the, we call the stockier wrestlers, or the upper classes. And we'll be in the semifinals. They're getting close to a fall there on mat number 2. And that was that was Joe Wetter coming up with a nice stack there, and he gets the pin over Joe Childs of River Ridge. So that completes 157 there. Other than the match we got going on in front of here on mat 3 between Spenceley and Kane, and that's now 5-3 in favor of Kane. far end there, we said before, we have Blake Brickle from River Valley. He's taking on Hawken Garvin from Toma. Down on mat number 1, we'll get down there quick because we have Caden Cass from Westby. He takes on Mason Jelenic, and right now Mason Jelenic in really good shape, coming up trying to get a fall here to keep himself in the tournament, and he gets it. So Mason Jelenic will move on to the Consolation semifinal with a nice first period fall there. 34-second pin for Mason.
At 175, we have a 2-0 lead for our River Valley wrestler in Brickle as we will go into period number 2 now. Thanks again to all those terrific sponsors. We want to remind you that we will be moving into, they'll probably take, I would imagine, a bit of a break here. Since we're looking at the semis, they'll probably take their lunch break, and then we will come back with the semis.
I don't think they will, Ken.
Oh, you don't think they will?
They really talked about the only break they were going to have was between the semis and the finals.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, get things going, right?
Well, they do have it set up. They're trying to get the Hall of Fame in this afternoon.
Yeah. Well, that's what I thought.
And they had that slated to start about 1 or 2.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And the finals for the whole tournament about 3:30.
Uh-huh.
There's a fall down there on mat number 3. That would be Spenceley just was on the short end, and that is Eli King comes up with a fall for Holman. So now we're getting down, I think we're real quick here. We're going to be in the last few matches, and then we'll find out if Mr. Layer is right or Mr. Manning is right. Well, the story I heard is they were going to go straight through till they got to the through the semifinals, so they could have the break.
Well, that sounds like a winner.
Now we have another River Valley Blackhawk taking the mat out here against Riverdale Chieftain. Computer update here in a second. That's at 157-2 in a wrestle back.
River Valley going for those pinpoints.
Yep, that's Tyson Larson on top right now, and he's wrestling Brandon Meese from Riverdale. Brandon, a junior. There's a fall over there for the River Valley wrestler. That's Hunter Alt coming back, and he gets a fall over Nathan Snodgrass from the Holman Reserves. So he moves his day continued on. We don't have no action down on mat number 1. So
I'm surprised.
Maybe it could be an issue. I can't believe it's time, but
I would be surprised with that.
It'd be possible.
4-0 the score. That'll be the.
It's supposed to be a match between Reedsburg and River Valley. They see the River Valley wrestler standing there, but maybe the Reedsburg kid got caught off somewhere else.
Yeah. 4-0 score. We're in the period number 3 now. Brickle in front on mat number 4.
Yep. Match down here at 175 on mat number 2. That's Tyler Brewer from River Ridge. He takes on Braden Peterson from GT Millman.
157 on mat 3. Again, River Valley.
Larson from River Valley taking on Meese.
Did a nice job with a takedown to lead 4-0. He's going right after a arm bar and a wrist here. And wow, he is going to get a turn.
He's going after Meese pretty straightforward.
Yes, he is.
There's the pin.
Well, with the 1 minute, it'll be a 1:44 pin time. Now over on mat number 4, we have a pinning combination here as well. And there it is. Yeah, that's That was Brickle with the pin.
Yep. So 2 pins in a row for River Valley.
And or maybe even 3, right? Because
Oh,
over
yeah.
here.
Yep.
Yeah. So they're making some noise.
Now we're going to get back to action down there on mat number 1. That will be Belmont Platteville wrestler Cam Moore. He will be taking on Caden Coleman from Ithaca Weston in a wrestleback match.
All right.
Down on mat number 1. Keep
Looks
an
like-
eye on that.
Looks like we got Chuck back with us. We might want to turn
Do
him.
we have to turn him back on?
Turn
I
him
guess?
back on.
There
Physically,
you go.
physically. Nope, just visiting with my son and daughter-in-law
Yeah.
there just a bit. They're here for the Hall of Fame
That's nice.
Yep.
situation there.
Very
All
nice.
right, I haven't done this for probably close to half an hour, but I'm going to quiz you.
Uh-oh.
All right. Out of the number 1 and number 2 seeds.
Isn't that break time now,
I
Ken?
think it is break time.
Yes, it is. Break you guys down.
Oh, okay.
All right, you're going to get this eventually. Out of the number 1 and number 2 seeds, how many did not make it to the semifinals
1 and 2.
today?
I'm going to say nobody.
I'm going
gonna
to say
say
nobody. I think
everybody
they all
made
made it through.
I got to come up with tougher questions. So it just means that I was getting to the point that the track wrestling and I mean,
yeah.
that's the way it should be.
Right, right.
You know, if done right there, too. And we were
Yeah.
talking earlier, too, that the bi-state wrestling tournament this year is not going to have the coaches meeting and all that stuff as far as proceeding purposes. It's
Uh-huh.
going to be all done by track.
Wow.
So, and I'm sure, you know, Kirk, you probably, I don't know, but if there is like that Biba situation and it is not caught by track, will the coaches have an opportunity, you think, to get into that? I mean, they get to wrestle all the way back to third.
Yes. That's the key thing you just mentioned there. But the one thing that you mentioned about track wrestling, and I applaud Jason Loloff and his team there that are managed the tournament. You know, they've used track for so many years. As a matter of fact, they were, with Justin Tritz, they were the first team to pilot and initiate track wrestling in the state of Wisconsin. You know, and I think it really has gotten with the state tournament the last several years. They're fine-tuning their program every year, but they are totally relying on coaches to put their information in
Yep.
there and apply all the criteria as they put their information in there. And if they do a really good job, a lot of that stuff should come up and get taken care of. It should be addressed by the track system. But coaches always have to remember, if you leave something out and you don't put that the kid was this or that, then track can't see it. It's only a computer. It's artificial intelligence.
Yeah, yeah. It does put it a little bit of pressure on the coaches to remember everything, but
Yeah. But nowadays, I mean, the coaches have all that stuff readily at hand. You
Right,
know, it's just,
right.
geez.
Which even Jason went so far to tell me that track wrestling, you know, when you talk about some of the highest criteria for the bi-state tournament, is your state place winners from last year. Well, that's already in the track system. The
Yeah.
track system picks that stuff up and kind of spits it back at you. And it'll even tell you, you know, the bi-state place winners. Those are the first 4 criteria in the bi-state are your state champions and your bi-state champions and place winners, at least in the top 1 through 3 guys. You know, so that part of it's done fairly well. It's the other
Now,
gentleman.
freshmen coming in might be a little bit different story, but isn't there a lot of that youth? I don't know.
They could put it in, but that I truly think will be the challenge for track wrestling. When you get a young man like a Dinar that comes in there as a freshman,
Yeah.
and we know that's more prevalent today than it ever has been. These freshmen coming in, hell, there was a freshman that just wrestled one of those defending runner-ups in the NCAA and beat him, you know, early already. You know, so these freshmen anymore, whether they're college or high school, they're not, in many cases, not what you would call
Right.
true freshmen.
exactly. Let's take a look here on mat number 3. I got both cameras on that bottom half on mat 3 since we have no matches on 4.
Suppose
That
you want
is
to know who's wrestling. huh?
Iowa Grant Highland.
We have Gavin Hinderman. He's taking on Stevie Meyer from CFC. Then on mat number 2, we have Caden Courier from Riverdale. He's taking on Ryan McCoy from Hillsboro. And then on mat number 1, we have an Ithaca Wrestling. And now, as soon as I say that, it kicks me out of there.
Yeah, Hinderman is.
But that's Ithaca young man out on mat 1.
Hinderman picks up a pin, and Riverdale, Kieran, you said?
Yeah, Courier.
Courier, excuse me. He picks up a pin as well in that match. So 2 pins
We
within
have
seconds of each other.
Berkram down there on mat number 1.
Oh, yeah.
He's taking on Mason Helgerson. At Berkram's, that was our 2 seed getting beat though. Maybe we are wrong. Wasn't he?
At where at?
No, Berkram was 6 seed.
Oh, was he a 6 seed?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
Brock up with number 2 at
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
215.
All right.
That's pretty solid weight class.
Yeah, it
That
is.
is.
We're back on wrestling here on mat 4 here.
Yeah, I see that. That's Blaine Broker from Toma. He takes on Cody Casada from Boscobel. And right now he's out in front there and in control 2-0. Now we're going to have another Cashton Eagle here take on. That's out on mat number 2. That's Gavin Anderson, a senior, taking on Carter Hobbick from Toma.
And on mat 3, we have Reedsburg coming out onto the mat. And that is going to be,
Braden Klemp.
okay.
He
Clem.
takes on Jaron, how'd you pronounce that? Wiki?
That's what I said, yeah.
That looks good to me.
I wasn't 100% for sure.
Well, it looks like we and then key.
We'll run with it. Toma picking up a reversal on mat 4 and a 6-0 lead in the second period of action.
We're up to 215 and 190, so we must have been pushing that half-hour break thing a little bit.
Yeah, more than I thought.
And it stands to reason, as Chuck said earlier, that there weren't a lot of quarterfinal wrestlebacks on the Consolation side, so we got up there in a hurry.
Yeah.
And we do get a fall down here in mat number 2 is Carter Hobbick. He pins Gavin Anderson from I guess it wasn't. It was just the period. My fault. We'll let Gavin Anderson wrestle in the second period. Now we have an injury down here on mat number 3. Young man from Boscobel being attended to.
Yeah, he might have twisted the ankle a little bit. Looks like it is wrapped too.
Got a huge knee brace on his right leg, and now, like you say, maybe it's his left leg or ankle that they're looking at.
Toma picks up the pin down there on 4. Kirk, who is that again?
That's Blaine Broker. He gets a fall there over Cody Casada from Boscobel.
2:01 the pin time.
Well, Casada, just a sophomore. Now Anderson is back in trouble here again, and this time he's not going to get out of it with the clock. So Carter Hobbick picks up the pin there. So pretty soon I think we're going to have to go through at least some fairly fun scrambling, figuring out who we got in some of these
Yeah.
wrestleback matches.
Well, we hope you're enjoying today's broadcast, and by all means, be sure to get the information out to friends and family members, whatever it might be, wrestling fans, as we continue on with today's tournament, streaming on Twitch and on my Westby Twitch channel.
Down there in mat number 4, we have Blake Goyette from Holman's Reserves. He takes on Jack Shire, who is beaten in the quarterfinals there. And then on mat number 2, we have Trenton Paulson. He takes on Jaeger Jepsen from the Holman Reserves. But Jepsen has Paulson in a lot of trouble.
Well, a tough break here. They are going to help our young man off from Boscobel here, and they're not going to let him put any weight on that.
It's Wiki, Jaron. Not what we wanted to see at this point of the day, but
Right.
there's the fall there by Jaeger Jepsen as he pins Trenton Paulson, the sophomore. His wrestle back. Berkman down there, he still holds a 4-0 lead. I think we could be down. I see some more coaches coming, so maybe we have one more 285 bout left.
Chuck, can you hear what Mr. Theed is saying over there?
I cannot.
That's one of the few times that
Yeah.
we can't quite.
Usually I don't. Should have him turned up just a little bit.
Just
but I
a
can't.
touch, maybe, yeah. Usually he just comes across so clear.
Well, they just installed a new sound system here
Yeah.
in the gym.
Yeah,
Oh,
say
wow.
they do have a
Yeah.
new system.
Oh,
Maybe they do need to turn it a little
they
louder.
got to get used to that, probably, huh?
Oh, we are going to have one more bout down there on mat number 1. As Berkman must have won down there, didn't he?
Okay.
Is that emblem that they have on the wall? Is that new this year too?
That's been there a couple years now.
Okay.
They just upgraded that a couple years ago.
All right.
That's very nice.
It is very nice.
Schreier
And they-
picks up the pin.
Down there, yep. Now we're down on mat number 1. We have Porter Redner. He takes on Pierce Conway from River Valley. That might be. Now they're gearing up here, gentlemen. They're gonna.
Do the
I see some young guys getting out
Yeah.
here, and they're gonna go into the semifinals and the wrestlebacks.
Kind of hope they wait so we can start that all
at the
together,
same time
right?
would be really nice.
Yeah.
I'd hope so.
Oh, they're not going to,
No.
though. Oh, and we have one down there. So if they start wrestling this, I'm going to do this. We're going to stop the tape here, and we'll come back with this. I hope you're enjoying today's broadcast, the Western Wisconsin video production.